This is an interview with Eric Best, a community builder who is attempting, similar to what we are doing, in building communities of people gathering on a regular basis, and in his case, actually living on the property, and not like a commune like a lot of people think, and those are springing up all over the world too, but a community where people gather to explore themselves, learn how to live better, learn how to communicate better, and ultimately just become better people and reach their highest potential in this life. It's a fascinating conversation and interview. I hope you enjoy it. Everybody, we got Eric Best here. He is the extraordinary firewalker, the champion of community building, and my friend. And it's remarkable that he wanted to come visit with us today, because in this short talk, we're going to be discussing the importance of community, and not community like we think about it, community in building true, deep, lasting relationships with people that really matter, that we can count on and come together in a way that is supportive, non-judgmental, the best we can. I mean, we're all humans. We all want to pop somebody upside the head and say, what the hell did you do that for? But that's not the kind of community we're trying to build here. And these things are popping up everywhere around the country and around the world, where people are knowing they're lacking something. Something's lacking in their life. They go to church, they leave church and they're lonely. They go to different groups and organizations, they leave and they're lonely. People have dysfunctional families everywhere you turn, including my own. You leave your family gathering and you're pissed off and lonely. I think that is not the reason why we're here on this planet. Obviously, we have to commune. Don't you think so, Eric?
Absolutely. My view on it is we are embedded in a spiritual process called evolution. It happens physically, emotionally, mentally, and what we call spiritually. Our task, from my experience, so to speak, ultimately is a high spiritual one, finding our way back home. Some people would say to the Godhead, to the essence of the universe, the source, different labels get put on it. We've got a brain, which some people say God gave us a brain or evolution gave us a brain, however it came about, something to use. We're not dummies. And if we use it fully, we can make life fuller, better, richer, and that's how I want to live. I don't know about anybody else. That's how I want to live. I'm not going to address questions like, well, do you live after death? I mean, is my spirit still here? Some people would say yes, some people would say no. At least for right here, right now, I want to have a rich, full, vibrant, alive life. Have friends to share that with. Let me jump to the end, and then I'll go back to the beginning if I may. For me, community, real community, is not just a gathering of people from Rotary, something like that. It is a gathering where people develop honesty, deep, loving, honest friendships. They have a commitment to love and to truth. It can't be asked, you cannot tell someone you should develop this, you should be this. That will evolve on its own. You cannot force somebody into it. I'm looking for people who are ready. Kevin, I think what you're doing here at Amidst, Texas is exactly that. You've come to a place in your own development where part of you is reaching out to the rest of life. You're making an offering, and I love it. It's very similar to my own. And the deepest sort of relationship I can have with a friend is one which is based on love and truth.
How do you get to love and truth, though, Eric? That's love and truth is difficult, because most people, and this is one of the things that we run into everywhere in life, is I can't be truthful with Dean sitting out here because Dean doesn't know me, and if I'm vulnerable at all to Dean, he's going to think my perception of what he thinks about me could be altered. Like, a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people, like these boys, young boys sitting out here, we start at that age to develop this identity within ourselves that I think prevents us from fully reaching a tight-knit group of community like loving, trusting friends all the way, because we've never been taught how.
Right, exactly.
And we live in a community, this town, this state, this nation, where you're supposed to be a man. You're not supposed to talk about your feelings or your emotions. You're not supposed to say, God, that hurt my feelings. How do we get over this? I didn't like how you just treated me. Oh, I'm wrapped up in who I am. I'm Colin the electrician, and this is who I am, and that's who I'm going to portray myself to the world. And I'm not going to do anything that's outside of this little box that I created for myself, because I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable unzipping that and going, hey,
Right.
Hey Dean, this is Kevin, man. I am this screwed up. That's hard. That's hard for people. Yeah, hell, it's hard for me.
Kevin, you asked how does somebody arrive at that love and truth place, and you're right. There are all sorts of masks, veneers that we develop along the way to protect ourselves, to have an identity. And we've been given, sometimes by politicians, sometimes by religions, a thought form of this is how you should be, this is the correct way to be. But that may not, they may tell us, to use a simple example, you should love lemon meringue pie, but cherry pie is no good. I got news, for a lot of people, I enjoy cherry pie too, both of them.
Right.
Part of it is to come like what you and I are doing right here, right now, is we tell the truth. We say there are veneers, there are bad things that happen to us. That in and of itself is a start. We tell this little bit of truth together. And we get together and we do it some more. We go a little bit deeper. We get to the place where you don't laugh at me because I fall off a bicycle anymore, like 10 years old. Look at him, he just fell off.
I'm probably still going to laugh at you.
Well, right.
I'm just picking.
I know. But I think you get the idea. It's
For sure.
Developing trust that I can say whatever I want to say about me. This is the true me. The simple thing is I like cherry pie, fine. But you talk about money or sexuality or power, or politics, religion. Do I dare tell you who I am with regard to any one of those things? I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, or I'm for Trump, or I'm against Trump, or this religion is full of shit and this one holds the answer. Those things become a little more touchy than just cherry pie.
Yeah, because it's just what we were talking about. I just briefly mentioned with we wrap ourselves up with these egos. I am a Baptist. I was born and raised a Baptist, and if you're not a Baptist, you're burning in hell, boy. That's problematic.
It is. And part of the key, honestly, as you're saying for this example of Baptists, is somebody can be stuck and you can talk to them or even yell and scream that, look, that's not the truth. You're not going to go to hell. And until they're at a place wherever their life has carried them, likely, my experience, is enough pain and strain and dissatisfaction, they start to inwardly challenge that thought themselves. Then you or I can speak to them and say, I've gone a different path.
To stay on the topic of community, is what we do here on a regular basis is what I've been earning and yearning and searching for my whole life without even knowing it until past several years. And that is to have people around you that can say something that introduces you to a different way of thinking about something. That can say, hey, have you seen that podcast on this particular subject? Really thought-provoking. Hey, would you like to go watch this documentary with me? Hey, can we sit and talk? I have something I'm really struggling with. To have a close-knit group that regularly meets and gathers, to have cookouts, to sit around the fire like we do on all the time whenever the weather's nice. We're certainly not going to do it today at 100-degree heat.
Right.
Those are things we do all the time. And when we sit around, especially a fire, there's something magical about a fire. And we sit there and we air out things that are inside of our soul, and to have people that are willing and able to do that with you, to me, is the richness of life.
It is, without a doubt, yeah.
And without that definition of community, we get lost in this nonsense of, I live in this part of Shreveport. This is my community. And, you see somebody in passing away and you hardly talk. You never really have meaningful discussions. To me, that's not community. That's just superficial living. And everybody lives superficially everywhere we look. I mean, I do it myself. I like being able to sit down with some of these guys, Kevin, Ricky, Dante, and I sit and, like one of the things that I like that I'm practicing working on is being aware. Like just being aware of myself.
Right.
And having the community around me that, especially Ricky's really good at this with me, and that's why I love him so much, and he's a part of our group. He'll catch me. Like he knows me so well. Like yesterday, he knew, I think it was yesterday or the day before, he knew I was irritated. Like life was irritating me. And he goes, man, I feel you. When I see you, I'm going to give you a big hug. Just go love him. He starts laughing, and I can feel his laugh through the phone.
Right.
And then it makes me laugh. It makes my heart smile.
That's the sort of the relationship you say with Ricky, where somebody knows you well enough, they can feel you, resonate with you, not be sucked into your negativity, but actually offering you love to counteract that.
Right, and to have a community of people that you trust so much that if you start being negative Nancy and you start talking bad about somebody or gossiping, to say, hey man, that's enough of that bullshit. That's enough of that.
No.
Yeah, we don't need to go down and building glass houses. We don't need to be doing that. And having people that call you out on that nonsense is great.
For me, there's another factor there too. It is both what you're alluding to is eliminating the negative, being able to talk about it, get rid of it, but also with a group of people where there's true in-depth friendship, there's a potential for increased positive creativity. I want to build this. I want to do something. It's not that I've got a problem. We can handle that if it comes up. But I'm excited about this or that. My passion personally is community building, real community. It's about getting a loving honesty between us and doing things like a fire, a bonfire, building a house, sitting down, having an argument. I disagree on whatever the subject is. I want to talk to you about it. I want to try to understand what the fuck you believe in there or not. And I don't believe it, but I like you. And there's got to be some value because you're holding this idea that is opposing to mine. One of the things I've learned in life, one of the most powerful things, is that no one is 100% right 100% of the time. And on the other side of the coin, no one is 100% wrong 100% of the time. There's the opportunity to learn something from everybody I meet if I and they are willing to engage in that conversation.
I think that's wonderful. And one of the things that I work on so diligently here is practicing the art of knowing yourself.
Right.
So if we can know ourselves, and we have people around us that help us know ourselves, then we can communicate with others more clearly. We can learn them and understand them more clearly. So we can communicate with the divine more clearly. Because it's what we were talking about right before the camera started rolling. If you don't know yourself, you don't even know what you think it, why you believe it, how do you ask the divinity to help you out in anything? Like you don't even know what you're asking for because you don't even know,
Right.
You don't even understand yourself.
Right.
It's like, it's confusing. It's like
self-knowledge is critical.
And you got to have people around you that call out your BS.
And I'd say who will support you learning more about who you truly are.
For sure.
Whether I like that or not.
Yeah, well, it should hurt.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But I mean, some things are uncomfortable. Like learning yourself is uncomfortable. Recognizing that you have big problems is uncomfortable. Recognizing that you have a thought process that is alienating to others, or that you have this condescending attitude and you push people away. A lot of people don't want to look at that, or all the masking issues that we do.
Right.
Building people of honesty is tough. It's tough for me. Like I feel tough. I've been crying a lot lately for some reason. I don't know why. Like I just watched a sad movie, cry. I was at Andrew's deal the other day, and hell, I just started crying. I don't know why. Hell, I'm talking about crying. I feel like I might cry right now. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe it's say, hey, here I am. I'm trying to build this community of people so that we can come together regularly, help each other out anytime we're in need, and talk. and get to the heart and juice of life and meet each other everywhere. But, come together regularly to learn more.
Kevin, I
about
got
this
a
life.
comment on your thing about crime. For me, that gives me an insight into you that I believe says this man's heart is open. And I do the same thing at times. It's something that happens that will touch me, and I start to tear up. Say, what the hell? Here's a grown man. You're not supposed to cry and all that bullshit. But I mean, it can be simply watching a little kid who's discovering something new and they're celebrating, being happy doing that. And I'm just touched by that. There's a resonance and empathy of what's happening. The life force that's coming out in this kid, and it has joy in exploring, discovering, creating something. As a matter of fact, I'll make a comment here. One of the things I've done in my life is a lot of meditation, and I ended up teaching fire walking to cancer patients, terminally ill cancer patients, people who are not up for putting up with much bullshit from anybody. They know they're likely going to die. I had in the process of teaching fire walking to them the challenge of coming up. Here are people who are looking forward to losing their life. And what can I do besides helping them deal with fear to give an answer? What is life all about? Is there a meaning to life? Do I just live now, die? Or do I follow this religion, go to this heaven or this nirvana or to hell, depending on your choice? Anyway, the image came to mind of what's life all about. I couldn't tell them the purpose of life, but what's life is all about more came. And I thought of a 4 or 5 year old kid, healthy parents, not perfect, but kids got loving parents, mom and dad who take care of them, feed them, bathe them, food, shelter, safety, security, and all that. Image 4 or 5 year old kid who's got a backyard that's fenced in, so he or she can go out in the backyard. Mom can be there at the window of the kitchen, washing dishes or whatever, keep an eye on him. So the kid is being watched. She can respond immediately if he needs help. But he's out in the backyard exploring. He's trying things. He's being fully alive. He'll make a mud pie. He'll pick up a worm. He'll maybe take a rose petal and try to eat it. And the process that is going on is life is fully expressing in him or her at that moment. What I've come to understand is what I call life is, what's life all about? As simple as your ABCs, only it starts at E and works back to A. It's about exploring, discovering, creating, benefiting all. And here's the catch, or the offering. So my experience, and I invite anyone here after we get through with this, if you got a comment on this, say if it's true for you. My experience, if you're doing any one of those things, exploring, discovering, creating, benefiting all, you'll be happy. If you do 2 of them at the same time, you'll be better than happy, you'll be full of joy. If you do 3 of them at the same time, you will be in ecstasy, literally in ecstasy.
That would be like hanging out with Jill all the time.
Right. High compliment to Jill.
As we wrap this up right now so we can go eat Andrew's good barbecue, it's the importance of those deep connections with each other is what the lack of having those connections is why the world is so miserable.
Yes.
And I believe the more we resonate with people, the more we connect with them, the more we help each other and understand each other, the more we start shifting the paradigm of judgment and negativity, and we truly can create these pockets of being and doing better, being good stewards of the earth, being good stewards of the heart, being good stewards to our brothers and sisters, being good stewards to the animals that we're going to eat, and in the process, setting good examples to others to live better lives. To live openly and honestly, like you say, is the best way to do that.
I love your idea of pockets. The way that I phrase it is similar. Creating islands of sanity and love in a space where all too often sanity and love is not present.
Right, and where all people are and ideas are welcome. Because if you can't expand your mind, if you're not exercising your mind, just as your body, if you're not exercising your body, you're going to wilt away and die. Same with your mind.
True.
And
true.
if you have these iron bars all around you that, oh, my religion's right, I can't hang around with you, or, you're white, or I'm black, or, whatever. just stupid nonsense. We got all this stupid stuff that we need to wipe off and get out of us. So with that, we're gonna go eat. Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, one critical thing, the offering I talked to you about before we got on camera, the idea of suggesting doing an event on Saturday, if people are interested in experiencing some of this, to do an intro event on Saturday for say 3 or 4 hours, where they get to experience, they'll learn about community building, real community, and they'll learn they get a taste of the process, so they can decide if they'd like to do more, to go deeper.
Yeah, this community building idea is nothing new. So you should just explore it. Just look up community building. It's pretty fascinating. And there's all different types. I mean, you got spiritual communities, you got love, sex, and power communes, which we're not doing. Well, love part, yes. But there's just a million different ways of doing everything, just like there are billions of people.
If I could add into that, I'd invite people to explore, look up mariposagroup.org. It's my community. Mariposa is Spanish for butterfly, Mariposa group, all run together, mariposagroup.org. And there's more on that in this very vein of what we're talking about, deep friendships, long truth.
And that'll, of course, be in the description. Well, guys, thank y'all for joining us. As always, we're mysticsoftexas.com, and we're here every single Sunday. So I know many of you, many thousands of you that watch this, just come out. What do you got to lose? Don't be lonely, sitting around. Your butt probably is sore on the couch anyway, so get up, move it. Let's go.